figuring out how to make sure it broadcasts properly on YouTube, and then, and I almost forgot to put it on YouTube. This is why Laurie is here. She's amazing.
No, I'm not.
Amazing.
There's some lady Mariette coming.
Let her say any other way. And I'll mute it to make sure.
I can't remember, I was the first name was some, first name Mariette.
Okay.
My wife was, she's in, like, the presidential.
You know what, on this one, I'm gonna have it on record. I will, when it gets going.
Days ago, and
And if you need to pull it back, we'll
I can see, I think I can see it from there.
Mm-hmm.
We're really close. Now. Oh, I'm glad you're here. Record.
Good? Can't remember.
All right. Let's call to order this regular meeting of the Pleasant View City Council this April 13th, 2021 at 6:01. Welcome everybody, those that are joining us by Zoom and YouTube. We'll start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, opening for a reading or expression of thought by Councilmember Gibson.
Please rise. Pledge allegiance after me.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we're deeply thankful for this opportunity we have to live in this community and be surrounded by wonderful people and people that support the freedoms that we enjoy. Father, we ask a special blessing to be with our law enforcement in these times of trouble and civil unrest. Help them to know that they're back, protected, help them to be smart, and also to watch out and be able to return to their families. Be with our fire department and those emergency services personnel who do put their lives on the line and go towards fear and trials. We're thankful for this body, Father. We get along well and we do have the best interests of our city in mind. Help us to make those decisions that will be lasting for the positive. And we're thankful for all we have. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Steve. Okay, do we have any declarations of conflict of interest? Seeing none. Comments or questions for the mayor or council?
Just one quick reminder, please everyone speak into your microphones as we're doing this kind of multi-technology effort.
Thank you. And make sure your microphone's on.
Yes.
All right, youth city council report, Sydney. Thanks for joining us today.
So this month we did the Easter candy grab. And so the Tuesday before that, there were 13 kids that came to help sort all the candy and get ready for it. And there were 13 kids that showed up on Saturday to help with the actual event because they could be there. And there were 18 that went on Tuesday to help set up for that and sort all the candy. And something that the youth that helped with the actual event really liked this year was that we had them take around bags full of candy instead of just being there to watch.
Okay. Awesome. I guess the normal thing at Utah State's not happening again this year. Haven't heard anything, so have you heard anything, Sydney, about that?
I have not.
So Allison's been exploring possibly some type of hybrid, bringing in a speaker for our youth council here and looking at like inviting North Ogden, Riverdale, maybe Tremont, just some other communities, youth councils to participate. So we're looking at that option.
Okay, great. Anything else, Sydney?
I think that's it.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll move to consent items, which is minutes of March 9th, 2021, March 11th, 2021, and March 23rd, 2021.
Make a motion that we approve the consent items.
I'll second the motion. Motion by Bailey, second by Marion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next item is, first item of business, discussion of possible action to approve a development agreement between JLEC Holdings, LLC, and Pleasant View City for infrastructure upgrades and improvements in conjunction with the Ruin White Business Center subdivision, and to approve roadway construction on a portion of city property. Amy?
Yes, thank you very much, Mayor. So I did notice that we do have Tyson Lund on the phone. We've been working closely with his group, with JLAT Holdings, on this development proposal. And so the timing with the developers coming in on this and the city's efforts really are very opportune. The city had worked before, applied for a grant with WACOG to get some funding to install the roadway in this area to extend Ruin White northward. And as part of that, JLAT Holdings came in and had some development ideas and proposals to bring in kind of this new business park region to the city. And so it's really a very positive thing that kind of co-happened. And so the development agreement for this breaks down the costs for the developer, but then also the city's costs, the approved project costs in coordination with the WACOG grant. And so that's ultimately what the agreement is. The JLAT Holdings is actually very kind in that they'll be managing the installation of the roadway for the city as part of their efforts and bringing this in. And I know they're very anxious to get going on this project. And then also, just as part of this, the city did purchase a parcel of land. And so part of the action before you this evening for consideration is to approve roadway construction on that portion of city property for that to go through. I will note that there is some discussion right now with WACOG because the developers came in at the time that they did to possibly extend the use of funding, the project area for this, so that the roadway can extend further, that we can possibly enhance the portion of Parkland and then up to where the Simon Go development will be coming in. So that's something that's coming forward, possibly. We're just looking at options with that at this time. I don't know if there's any questions or comments.
Any other questions? It's been a long time coming. I'm sure Tyson would agree. As we've worked on and worked it and reworked it and been through legal and their legal and our legal again and their legal again, and the numbers have constantly been changing and updating. It really has been quite a project to put together. So. And
they've been a really wonderful partner. And Tyson, I don't know if you had any comments for us this evening on the project and what you're looking to accomplish with this.
I have one question there.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead, Steve, before Tyson. We had widened that road versus, from this regular road to handle that as kind of a collector. Is this going to be built to that standard that we?
Yes. So it's actually a widened and thickened base road.
Okay.
And so the main intent of that, and that's where that other kind of expansion that I was talking about goes into, because I think it's important if, we're going to have these type of heavy truck traffic to make sure we have a road base where it really has that stability.
So originally we had enough money, I think, and I don't know exactly the amount, but we had enough money, we were going to do the project on our own and then rebuild developers at some point. Is this some of the money that we're going to use then to extend, using some of the WACOG money to extend? Where's it going to be, or how's that going to work?
We don't know.
Yeah, so right now, with the way the agreement is written, that's based on the scope of the WACOG project that was submitted to WACOG from us, and so this covers all of the city's costs with regards to that.
Well, but the idea was.
Yeah, so we submitted to WACOG to try to expand the project.
So we were going to, and then, again, what I thought, we were going to then recoup from a potential developer at some point.
Yeah.
Before we had this developer that is there now. Because they have a certain responsibility to pay for some some part of it, so are we taking some of that then? And I don't know if there's excess or if the cost has gone up to where there's no excess now, to move to Parkland or continue through
We've
West.
We have a request in right now on that. So we don't,
What are the dollars and cents? Maybe it's here, I'm not seeing it, but, do you understand what I'm saying?
yeah, no, definitely. So with the original appropriation from WACOG, because the developers come in, that's really helped us out from a financial standpoint in saving those WACOG funds. And so we will have in that project account, a remainder, and I don't know the number off of the top of my head, but I, sent an email out on Friday over to Brooke, and I can get that over to this group. But it's upwards of about a $2 million.
That'll go forward, is it? Yeah. I'll go to WACOG in the May meeting.
Right, so hopefully, and I understand what you're saying, we can transfer those funds from one project to continue on another project. Is that what we're trying to do, maybe?
Yeah.
Or
That's what-
give the funds back to it.
Yeah, so either, it'll be up to WACOG, so either they'll take the funding back, or, we've requested, and we think that there's possibly a good chance, because of their prudence in expending this and working closely with our developer, and they've been, again, phenomenal partners to work with, but we're hoping that we'll be able to expand the project area to include those other portions, because the Parkland portion of that road was installed in 1990, and then with the other road to make that more of an industrial base, so that it really can create on that side of Ruan White, this industrial roadway.
Right.
Yeah, does that answer, sorry. No, thank you.
Tyson, did you have anything you wanted to say on this?
Sorry,
development
Tyson.
agreement, or?
No, I think, it's been a long time coming, so it's fantastic that we're, at this point and that we've got equipment on site. And we were actually going to start yesterday, but there were some issues with the GPS, so hopefully it'll start tomorrow. But, I appreciate Amy and the staff and Dana and everyone in working through this. It's nice to finally be here. It's been truly years in the work, almost my entire career. So it's been a short career, but,
Yeah, I bet it really does seem like that. Yeah,
And with-
it's been back and forth. It's a very complex project, and they have been really just super to work with. They really have. So.
And with that, and with Tyson, I have to say with Tyson Lund, they're gonna be moving on this like very, very quickly, yeah.
Danielle was the chairman of the planning commission.
Wow.
It's been a while.
All righty. Any questions about the agreement? If not, then entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the development agreement between JLAT Holdings LLC and Pleasant View City.
Second.
And that road.
And to approve the roadway construction
Construction.
on a portion of city property.
Second item number one.
Motion by Arrington, second by Gibson. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Tyson.
Thanks. Yeah, start digging. He'll be out there tonight with a shovel. All righty. Item number 2 is discussion of possible action to approve three agreements.
Yes. Got the yes. Just to approve 3 agreements.
It's possible to approve 3 agreements between Willow Brook Village PUD, Plat A, Plat B, and Plat C, and Pleasant View City regarding the sewer infrastructure ownership transfer. And Dana or Tyson, or both of you, or whoever's gonna take that. Who wants it, Dana?
I believe I'm going to take the lead on this one. Okay, so we have, this is similar to what we've done in other places where we have some infrastructure that was installed as private. And in order to have any additional hookups to that private sewer line, it has to be transferred to public for state law and liability purposes. So this is just another one of those systems. And if I may share my screen, I can give you an idea of where this is, and we can actually, I can show you the next 2 items so that you can look at them both, I guess. So, can you guys all see that? Okay, so this is 2789. This is Willowbrook down here. And what spurred this is that there are several commercial lots up against 89 that do not currently have sewer service. And the most logical place for them to connect is either here at the top of the subdivision or near the dentist office out here. So in order to do this, they needed to make this line that's currently mapped a public line. And then additionally, this line, this is the mobile home park here. And it goes, the line continues north and then it crosses over into the Weber Industrial Park. So this first item, this is Willowbrook Village, and there are 3 plats associated with it. There's A and B and C. It was just platted in 3 separate subdivision plats. And they have TV'd and inspected all the infrastructure. And the city is actually willing to take over all of the infrastructure, or we're proposing to, I should say. These residents are paying sewer utility bills right now. So we find that it's probably in the best interest of everyone for it to make it official and make it a public system. And then that will open up these lots for development. So the agreements that you have before you for plats A, B, and C are for this particular area. And they are they're very similar to the other sewer takeover agreements that we've done in the past.
Alrighty. Tyson, anything to add?
No, that covers pretty much the whole thing.
Alrighty. Questions from the council?
I have a question. Is there already somebody wanting to connect to it there already, or we're just talking about this because of future development?
There was someone that came in who wanted to develop on one of those lots. And then there's also been additional interest since we started this process.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, Mayor, that we approve the agreement between Willowbrook Village PUD, Plat A, Plat B, and Plat C in Pleasant View City regarding the sewer infrastructure owner transfer.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, motion by Bailey, second by Uri. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 3, discussion and possible action to approve an agreement between Willowbrook Village Manufactured Home Park and Pleasant View City regarding the sewer infrastructure ownership transfer. I bet you this is exactly the same.
Yes, this is just to get that trunk line, just that one line that runs parallel to the tracks to the crossing.
She covered it in a previous slide.
Does the motion cover it?
No, I'll need a separate motion.
Yeah, I'll make an additional motion on item 3 that we approve an agreement between Willowbrook Village Manufactured Home Park and Pleasant View City regarding the sewer infrastructure owner transfer.
I'll second that motion as well.
Motion by Bailey, second by Uri. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4, discussion and possible action on the city's green waste voucher program for 2021. Laurie?
Yeah, we're just wondering if you guys want to continue the same voucher program. It's $5 per household. We only give out 1 per household. They can take it down there. Last year we extended the dates, so it's the very same thing as last year. If you guys want to.
How many were used last year?
I put it in that memo, and I haven't.
148?
Yeah, 148.
After tonight's win, probably people are going to be calling us, so.
I feel good about it.
Okay.
So I'll make a motion to approve it, if there's no other discussion, right?
How long are they offered for? I'm just curious.
It says what, September?
They'll be,
I can't find my. November 30th. November,
yeah,
okay.
that'll all say 2021 instead of 2020.
Yeah.
Does that pay for a load, a typical load? I don't know.
Maybe about 10, maybe.
Let's get our own great waste.
put this out and let people know that we have these vouchers available?
Yeah, we probably ought to do that, honestly, like tomorrow, because
Yeah,
they're very likely will need.
I think that's a great idea.
Mayor, all the
Yeah.
trees that could have blown
That's
over
probably
are already done. At least that's what I'm hoping to tell you.
Express bill pay email.
I'm
That's a great
anticipating phone
idea.
calls. Can we haul down to the greenway stuff again? No. All right, all in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Great.
Can I ask potentially a quick question about
Sure.
the status of our potential greenways?
Oh, that's so far down the road.
Just what?
You gotta get the property first.
Yeah, we haven't even paid for the property, so.
We do have
No, not really. Technically, not really. Now,
Okay.
that's probably, since it's not on the agenda, something that we'll
Okay.
talk about later. Okay, discussion and possible action to award the phone system bid to Intelligent IP. Amy?
Yes, thank you. I have a very brief PowerPoint. See if I can figure out how to do that with this. 1 second, thank you.
5 hour.
Oh, we have way too much fun here.
Can you have too much?
No, never. Okay, so firstly with the telephone system upgrade, I want to do a shout out to Heather Gale and Lori Hellstrom. They were on my staff group in working through these details, and it was a lot to get through and to kind of figure out where we were at and where we wanted to go, so really appreciate all of their efforts on this. Just as background, our current telephone system we've had for about 10 years. Our technology and system are now unfortunately out of date. We really have some limitations with how we can use the telephone system, and even to the extent of when you call and get the menu for our city, we can't even modify that right now. So that's a big challenge. So I think you all were aware of some of the situation, because in the current budget year, $15,000 is allocated to a new phone system. And so as part of that, we worked with our IT staff, and they connected us with an individual who got us 3 meetings and bids from some companies to talk about some new telephone equipment and technology. And so the one we're recommending is Intelligent IP, and I'll explain the reasoning why. We were surprised to learn that Zoom actually had a phone system, and they actually were the lowest cost option. But we had some concerns just with local access to their staff, as well as security, just with some of the challenges that they've had in rolling out with COVID. And then 8x8 was the other company that we looked at. And so in looking at these 3 companies, the recommendation that we're looking at is Intelligent IP for the equipment. And there's a little bit of a disclaimer with this one, not expected to be substantial by any stretch, but for new equipment, it's about $4,300, but they said, like, with some of the users, so if somebody's answering the phone frequently, they may need some added functionality, or, like, for somebody like me, I might just need basic voicemail, or, so we'll kind of go through what some of the individual users' needs are and modify that a little bit. And then the agreement would be about $637.45 a month, and my next slide will go into what we're paying now. The reason why we really like this company is they have substantially improved technology. So all of the phone technology that we would have at our desk, we'd be able to put on our cell phones as well. So we can call somebody from our cell phone, and it would show from the city. It kind of adds a level of professionalism with that. With security, they had very good kind of background on that in talking through that with them. Local support, so they actually have some people here in Utah, which is fantastic. So we know some people here we could call locally to come help us, and the same thing leading into that on-site training. So they'd actually come help us set up, help us train our staff on the new equipment. So that's why we really liked that company.
Before you move on, can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Does that work the other direction too? In other words, if I was to call the city and you weren't sitting at your desk, would it ring your cell phone?
Yes, we can set it up that way.
I had that at the county, so I was wondering.
Yeah, no, well, it's honestly, sitting in those meetings.
Deer hunting once, somebody called me, oh, I thought you'd be, called my office, I thought you'd be deer hunting. I am. Huh? Called your office. Yeah, I know.
So does that cost cover all of those features, or is that?
It does. It does. So the technology in the last 10 years has advanced substantially, and you all are going to be floored, and this never happens with finances working this way, but with the next slide, let me move our little screenshot, we're actually going to be saving about $17,000 a year, which is kind of crazy and maddening. So right now, with what we're paying per year, and I had it kind of broken down per month and all that before, but I think annual is an easier one to digest, about $24,000, and that's to CenturyLink, to these various companies, and the ShoreTel and that. And then on top of that right now, we're having to pay for tech support. And so we pay a contract, but not only that, we have to pay $75 an hour on top of that for when we use them. And if their system goes down on their end and we're calling them, we still have to pay $75 an hour. So it's kind of a bizarre deal. And so with that, major anticipated cost savings. This thing will pay for itself within a quarter. And we're really happy with the results. I don't know, Larry, if you had any?
Plus the cost is about 1/3 of what we budgeted.
Right, right. Just for the initial equipment cost, absolutely.
So what we really want to do today is not necessarily approve the bid for 43 something, because that could change, right? But
Right, well, and I think
so we want to award it
to the company.
Yeah.
And so, and we can get you those final numbers once we get those. I don't think that there will be a lot of adjustment or going up a lot. I think that they factored in a couple of like higher grade phones, but we wanted to meet with the individual staff members and see what their needs were. But I mean, again, that's with the cell phone technology, with a lot of technology we don't have right now, and it's a reduction in cost. We were kind of floored by the way the financials panned out on this. Unfortunately, this isn't very common, but it's kind of exciting to have a cost savings.
Technology, it either goes way up or way down, so it's about a
Mayor?
30 rate.
Does this go over to the police department as well? Is it the full phone system?
And that was one of the things why with Zoom, even though they were a lot lower cost option with security and that we were pretty wanting something more locally based. The 8x8, it was kind of fixes it. It was fine. It wasn't, but the customer service just seemed a lot better with this company.
$500 cheaper, I'm not saying a lot.
Well, they were a little cheaper.
Mayor, that's one other quick question, and this is fine, I have no problem with this, but, you know, and I don't know what's going on, you know, I've got rid of my home phone, and I know this is different than that, but is there technologies or something out there that going forward that we're not gonna need these phone systems? I don't know, I mean, is there anything in the future that we can see that is going away?
Not that I'm aware of on the business end of things.
Yeah, I think the only thing is, you know, the enhanced use of email and all of that, but for the most part, we all use our desk phones pretty regularly. And the interesting thing with the desk phones is they're all on kind of a digital network anyway, and so it's more just kind of that access point for the public to be able to reach us. And another thing we're really excited about, I mentioned we can reset our menu when people call in, which I'm like thrilled about because I don't think it's super customer friendly. But then on top of that, we can actually do like little advertisements. So if somebody's put on hold for a minute, we can, you know, promote Founder's Day or promote different things, and we can add our own little filler space with that too, which is really fun.
So they're really Is there a contract associated with it?
Yes, it's a 3-year contract.
Okay.
Thank you, good question.
Okay, so we're looking to basically award the bid to the Intelligent IP.
I'll make a motion that we award the telephone system bid to Intelligent IP as discussed.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion by Bailey, second by Arrington. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Great work. That's, I mean, besides being a third of the cost of what was budgeted, the fact that we're saving so much per year, that's Why'd we wait so long, huh?
And lots of credit to Heather and Laurie again. I think they did all of this heavy lifting on this.
All right, item 6, discussion of possible action to amend the consolidated fee schedule to amend the traffic school fees, resolution 2021-B. Laurie?
Yeah, I jumped the gun on this one, so we're just taking it off the agenda until there's a little bit more research.
Okay, I had a lot of questions, so
Okay, yeah.
I'll give it to you.
What's our new church now?
Well, they used to do traffic school and it was $45, and we had it in-house. We're not doing it in-house anymore, and so the judge was doing something. I asked Amanda, and she says she's still working on a few things too. The judge just started doing this, so we thought we better get our fee schedule updated, but I did it before we got the details, so.
All righty. All right, we'll have that at another meeting. All right, closed meeting. Do we need a closed meeting? Not that I know of. Okay, no discussion and action from closed meeting. Other business, I'm gonna start tonight, if that's okay. Just a couple of things. One, got a lot of questions about garbage. I don't know, is Tyson still on?
Yes, sorry, let me,
People are concerned about putting their garbage out tonight. I don't believe we've made any changes, or you don't know of any changes to our collection tonight, correct?
sorry, Tyson.
Not that I know of.
No.
Okay.
Is there any way we could ask them to delay it just a little bit, an hour maybe or so? Because, I mean, it is, if you leave it, we all put it out on the night, and people that are on the west side of the street, they always blow over. You know, but you get up, I mean, sometimes I can catch them, but a lot of times I can't, you know, and I especially if it's gonna be really, really windy, it would be
Well, yeah, I
delay
don't know.
just a little bit, I don't know.
If we can get the word out at this hour, I don't know what we can do to facilitate both those.
I don't know.
Yeah, this late in the game, it's not gonna, it wouldn't make a lot of difference.
Just wake up super early.
Yeah, I guess that's, I mean,
People
that's
are gonna come get it.
There's 6 or 8 of us that will have our
Perfect.
What about in the morning?
No.
Yes.
Okay, one of the other things, just thanks to Tyson, and I don't know who, there was a citizen reached out, I got an email, hopefully all the council got an email thanking us for getting that. You know, it's the green waste all removed from our previous storm, and that was no small thing. I drafted a response and sent it back to her today when I was sitting down at the hospital, and just kind of expressed kind of the history of how it was really a difficult decision to make to open that up. I mean, it seemed like a no-brainer, but, you know, because of the history of what had gone on there prior, it was kind of a difficult decision to go ahead and pull the trigger on that. But boy, after I toured the city after that storm and saw what was going on, it was like, yeah, it was just, we just needed to do it. And I kind of promised myself that we would not burn it if at all possible, and that we would try to get rid of it as cheaply and you know, so the citizens basically didn't have to suffer twice for that storm. And thank you, Tyson, for finding that guy and getting it out of there at basically little or no cost to the city, so kudos.
Thank you.
If you haven't been by there, it's kind of weird. It's all gone. It was basically, what, 2 weeks maybe? I don't know. Seemed like it went fast, whatever it took, once it got started, so.
Now we can buy it back.
I have a meeting scheduled on the 20th, and I don't want to talk about much here in a non-open meeting. I will just say I have a meeting scheduled concerning a gravel pit with the county, 20th at noon. If Steve or Sarah is available to join at that meeting, I'll give you the details.
Is that something that you, I mean, I'm familiar with the details of what's going on. I feel comfortable allowing you to be the voice for that. I don't know. I really think you would do a great job with that meeting. I don't think I would have to be there.
No, you don't have to, I just.
No, I know, but I'm just
Less
saying,
may be more.
less maybe.
Well, you're probably right there.
I think if you, at least, as long as you say what we want you to say, and don't back down or something.
Is it all of them or just one?
It's been scheduled with 3 commissioners and then the gravel fee.
But I feel very comfortable, unless you need some support. I think you'll do a great job, and I think less is more in that regard. I don't know.
It very well could be. We have a meeting scheduled with, North Ogden City coming up to kind of tell them what we're kind of approaching with the fiber, and, hopefully I'm gonna take the opportunity to talk a little bit more about the Public Drive situation. I have had a lot of feedback about that from the mayor and other council members, that they are really leaning to trying and look the right term. They don't think they're gonna get a light anytime soon, and they realize, most of them, that it'd be really difficult, so hopefully they're gonna be willing to, but I wanna explore a little bit more of exactly what that means and how we can help, how we can contribute to it.
I had 2 people contact me just the other day about a meeting, and was that posted somewhere that we're gonna have a joint meeting to discuss the road? Because one of the guys came out and says, I want to be to the meeting you're going to be to with North Ogden. And I said, we've already kind of had a meeting that we attended. And he said, no, it's coming up in the future. And I said, I haven't.
Maybe you're referring to the public hearing.
Yeah, the public hearing probably.
But does it advertise as a joint public hearing with Pleasant View?
They haven't advertised anything, the only thing
I
that
just
was.
wonder,
And they have offered, though, I think in one of their public meetings, they did extend an offer to do a joint meeting with us, so maybe that's
I
where,
just don't know where it came
that
from. I
came
would have to
from.
meet with them and,
There was a recent post that said that.
or was it like in the North Ogden Connection or something? I don't know.
Well, in my letter that I sent out, I kind of briefed them, and I didn't say there was a meeting coming up. I said that when they hold their public hearing, I would invite anybody that had concerns to attend that.
Is that,
That was
was
it.
that in the mayor's message?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's where it was.
Yeah.
Because I had 2 people, one guy
We'll push that out as
specifically
soon as we
said,
hear
and then
about
Yeah,
another person says,
If we.
to be determined still on the date, right?
If they decide not to close it, there never will be one, so.
maybe
We'll
that's.
try to find out some more, and I'll report back to you after our lunch meeting with.
There's still conversations
Mayor.
in North Ogden that people post about it, are you really gonna close this, and people are asking questions and stuff, so.
And lastly, we went down to the multi-sports complex, met down there with Dana and Tyson, and kind of talked about trying to get that. It's looking much better this year, getting ready to reseed it. They have all the seed there. Soon as the water situation, I think we're about there. I don't think we're gonna get any water, so we'll just, but who knows? Tomorrow. Yeah, supposed to get snow tomorrow, so that's coming up. We talked a little bit about, I had an idea that I wanted to float past, anyway, Tyson and Dana, and that was, how we could maybe use at least half that park, get half the park really up and going and functional. And my concern is that it's pretty flat, we get any kind of storm at all, it fills most of it up with about 1 inch of water. Talked a little bit about maybe a small berm running right down the middle, separating the 2 fields, where it would only be maybe 1 foot tall, so that the east, south side, whatever you wanna call it, gets.
Gets the water.
Most of the water, yeah. And so instead of the whole thing getting 1 inch, that would get 2 or 3 inches.
Originally, there was a little berm there somewhere, I don't know if it's exact.
In the middle of it?
It was a little bit of a kind of step up.
So we're gonna explore some costs on that and get back with you, but Tyson's getting ready, they're getting ready to reseed that, and you know, if it's fairly inexpensive, I'll bring it back no matter what, just so you know, that's where we're kind of moving forward on there. I just want to kind of keep you up to date on that. Lastly, the health department has, they're getting harder and harder to read, to tell you the truth, but so hopefully we're still a go on everything.
Sorry.
And, I do have a health department meeting next Tuesday, so in 2 weeks I'll report back to hopefully a little more clarification. We stopped our weekly, meetings because things are looking better, I believe, but I don't think everybody's gonna get vaccinated maybe quite as fast, because I think it's going nationally. Now with the Johnson & Johnson temporary suspension, it'll be interesting to see what happens there, but.
How many people are in Utah? 3 million. Is it 3 million? 1.7 million have been vaccinated. I thought it was close to 2 and a little bit.
Utah is really doing good. 45%. I don't know what this Johnson, I can't wait till the meeting so I can hear what this, a lot of people quote, we're waiting for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. I've heard a lot of that. I guess because it's a one shot, but I even know some people that have traveled down to Salt Lake and Kearns and to get it, so they didn't have to do the 2 shots. So I don't know. We'll see where that goes, but I'll stay on top of that. And that's about all.
Officer attempted to stop a vehicle driving around a residential area without lights down off 2700 North. The vehicle was stopped by Big Boy's Toys. As the officer walked up, the individual took off in the car. Chase ensued through west end of Pleasant View into Far West, back into North Ogden, and due to the danger of the chase, it was called off. However, the suspect and vehicle were identified. The officer got close enough to look at the suspect and had a plate number when he signed out on it. Some investigation showed it's a parolee out of West Jordan. What they're doing in Pleasant View in the middle of the night, I have my suspicions, but luckily nobody was hurt. I think the individual will know that we do have a police department out here. We've identified him, so we'll go after a warrant for his arrest for evading and numerous traffic violations, probably a felony evading. Also last week, a 44-year-old female in Jacobs Mill was found deceased by her son. Cause of death is unknown due to age and the condition of things. It's not a suspicious death, but it is an unusual death. So we did order an autopsy on that, and we'll wait for that to come back and find out the exact cause of death. We're staying really busy with domestic violence and sex offenses. I don't know if it's just the pandemic or the nature of the economy or what right now, but domestic violence is up, sex offenses are up. Our court 2 detectives are they got about 60-something cases between them they're trying to work. So they're staying busy. I think I might play this one for you. We got a grant for a portable radar trailer, about $5,900. We were able to obtain the whole grant. It'll be a mobile radar trailer that we can move around the city, and it'll also be capable of collecting data for us. So when we get complained areas, we can move the trailer and set it up and collect data from the trailer. And the best part is it's free. So we're happy about that. Of course, been working on budget. We're getting all budget information together for Lori for future budget hearings. And we're putting together contingent plans for Founder's Day. I know we have a meeting tomorrow. So we're ready as far as the police department for any public safety issues or traffic issues. So we'll be set and ready to go for that. We're just finishing up the training year. Our training year goes July to July. There hasn't been a lot of training earlier in the fiscal year because of the COVID. So we're scrambling right now, trying to get officers some training. They have to have a minimum of 40 hours per year. And we like to do a lot of on-site, face-to-face training. We have done some online training that we'll make it. We'll get all the officers trained up and everything they need to be trained up in. And you probably know our dog has been certified in all areas, our canine dog, for aggression apprehension as well as narcotics. We acquired some training narcotics from Ogden City Police to dispose cases and their evidence. So we've got 4 different types of drugs that we'll continue to train our canine on, and he's doing a really good job, the officer as well as the dog. So we're very pleased that we've got probably one of the best dogs in the county, in my opinion. Calls for March. We had 681 calls for service, 81 citations were issued, and 2 arrests. 2 arrests doesn't sound like much, but the jail won't take a lot of people we're arresting. So a lot of them are released on promise to appear unless it's violent or felonies. And then that results in a problem with the warrant list increasing. This is the nature of the beast. Because of COVID, overcrowding, the jail does not want a lot of the things that we normally would book. And other than that, I don't have anything, unless there's questions of the mayor or council.
Okay, thank you. Tyson? Unmute.
First off, for such short notice, we got together a pretty good group for our West End Canal cleanup on Saturday. That was fun, and that made it look a whole lot better for that amount of effort. So that we got out there and cut a lot of the big hangers that were leaning out over the park and ride itself this Monday and cleaning up today. So we're just about there. I think the canal company's heading in to do whatever they're going to do on the ditch part as soon as they get off this east end of town, where they've been pushing up the bank to sort of solidify that narrow bank on the south side of the canal along the golf course. And so that was their goal, was to try to get back over there and dig out that portion of the canal as well before the water turns back in. Next, that's for the parks. They're looking into this. I can't remember its technical name, but for our effort in water conservation with the governor's order, and it breaks the water tension, surface tension. So you can use a significant less amount of water, and it helps get it down through the roots where you actually want it, rather than overwatering and having it just pond and run across your turf surface. The cost is coming in at around 11,000, and so we're going to see if we can work that in with the budgets and get that spread and for this season. And you'll notice I'm going a little darker because in the same effort, we're going to try to not kick in the water as early as they have been, to try to drive the roots down. And Tyler's been setting things up pretty well, and hopefully they've had the nutrients with the soil samples and, specifying those fertilization based off the soils at each park that they've been working on over the years. So with all that, they're going to try to drive those roots down and get them down to water where we can reduce those times. I know some citizens have been asking what our, I guess, our means of meeting those goals was going to be, since we've been reminding them to do it. So if you hear anything, that is our part of the plan. So Water's been working on the service transfer and abandonment on the west end, and getting that ready to hopefully make it in here for next council meeting. Streets, about to wrap up the debris pile removal on below the pickleball court there. Working on some mapping discrepancies that have come up as people have tried to work in their properties, and us not having all of our lines identified in that particular system. Working that out and hopefully coming to a good resolution that'll meet our needs and the residents. As well as getting together a sidewalk plan. I don't know if anybody's noticed all the ramps out on the 2700 that the printed stamped red concrete is turned into. I don't know how they buckled like that in so many portions across 2700, but they're getting that list together, and so we can uphold our responsibility with that agreement. And then just working on budgets and subdivisions.
Thank you. Any questions? Amy?
The only thing I have, and it's kind of related to what Tyson said, and we've gotten some invoices from the North Ogden Canal Company. We're going to be going through those on Thursday, just kind of internally, and looking at which things relate to the agreement with the city, and make sure to kind of get that taken care of and work through. So just as a heads up there, if you hear anything, we're working on that immediately.
And that kind of reminds me, I did want to mention, they submitted a request for a new contract. This year, at least this year, and maybe in the future, we're going to evaluate it this year and see how it works. We kind of would like to ask him for a project list that we as a council and staff can review and see what relates to our current contract, what the cost would be, for a couple of reasons. Number one, to make sure we're getting the best bang for our buck, that we're contributing, we're honoring our contract or our side of the agreement as well as them, and that we kind of can budget for what we need, and not just start receiving invoices from them. So as part of this budget year, we're hopefully going to get some ideas so we can put some budget figures in. Anyway, more to come on that, I'm sure. Laura, anything? Ann?
No, not tonight.
Kevin?
Just a couple things just to bring you up to date on the Veterans Monument. James Hammond has been working really hard, and he called, or he didn't call me, he sent me an email today, said he had, almost for sure secured the $5,500 grant from Sam's Club. Plus he's got another $1,600, so there's some significant donations being made. The letters we're talking about would be really helpful. I talked to Amy about our graphics artist that's putting together a flyer to send with the letters, so that'd be really effective, I think. Anyway, that's kind of an update. The drawings are being done. We're going to use a common theme for just not the memorial, but use it for Founders Day as well. So I kind of got to wait till I get that to see if we can use that logo for Founders Day, we will. If we can't, then it doesn't.
For like the shirts and the badges?
Yeah. So, this guy's a real professional. He does a super good job. So, but I reached out to him, I haven't heard back, so it might not be promising, but I'm a pretty good bird dog. I'll get some information. So that's all I got.
Sarah? Dave? I don't have anything tonight. Mr. Gibson?
Just the Founder's Day meeting tomorrow, of course. Heather's done a great job. We got together and put kind of the to-do list things on the agenda. So I don't want it to go for as long as it did last time. Just want to be quick, cover those to-do list things, maybe add some more to-do list things for each category. So hopefully everybody got that email. I think you sent it out today or yesterday.
Yeah.
But, I think everything's going forward, Mayor. We are going to have Founder's Day, so make sure.
Twist our arms?
Yeah, make sure that you,
Share the health department.
What are they gonna do, show up and make us go home?
just make it happen. I mean, and I've talked to several people from several cities, and they're very anxious to go forward, and so.
Everybody is. The only kind of pushback is they keep saying, we think by July things will be, and I'm like, well, we're close enough, right? Yeah, we think by July.
4 days to July,
Anyway, plus we need it, we're gonna have a wonderful time, and it's just gonna be a good thing. So we look forward to everybody tomorrow, 3:00.
I think by anyway, so.
Is it 3 or 3:30?
3:30. I'll be here 3. Sorry, I said my half hour late.
3:30?
I'll be here 3.
Yeah.
so if everybody doesn't have the chance to sign the letters tonight, we can wrap up tomorrow.
We're done
I
right
think
here,
they're all
baby.
signed.
You guys are
I
amazing.
sign this, 'cause that's why this was sitting.
And thank you to Sarah for getting all the contact information for the letters. Oh my goodness.
Alrighty.
If you, Dave's working on a couple too.
Awesome.
He has some sweet connections.
Alright, nothing further on the agenda. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Thank you, Tyson.
I usually stop you first.
Oh, right here?
Alright.
No. Or do I go to?
Go down here, I don't know what that.
Go to YouTube?
Okay,